Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us once again. It's the Sticky Side Podcast. My name is Rob Chismark. I'm in Middleburg, Florida, and joined from Raleigh, North Carolina, the best co-host and producer in the entire game. I got Michael Bird and TBL. We never introduced you, TBL, and I like you better. I'm just saying.
Aw, it really doesn't make any sense. I don't have a camera, first of all, and I really don't have anything to contribute to the show. But thank you for the accolades.
Rob's the BKAE, the biggest kiss ass ever. Like how I just came up with that one.
No, that was terrible. Actually, it was terrible. So you said, Mike, you got the surgery tomorrow. What surgery are you talking about?
Oh, well, thanks for bringing that up, Rob. I appreciate it. Let's see.
Enlargement, right? Some sort of enlargement?
a beard enlargement since I shaved mine off. So I am actually going in to have hip replacement surgery, so I'm going to be a hipster here pretty soon. My goal is by the time I'm 60, so I got 14 years to work on this, I want to be 40% metal. So I'm working on 2 hips. I'm going to try and get 2 knees.
40%.
I want to be 40% metal. Yeah. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to be Cyborg Bird. And I'm going to make sure my right arm
gonna be cool.
is going to be completely metal. So when I go and throw a bag, nothing is going to move out of line. It's going to be in symmetry. It's going to be one motion. That way there's no movement except for that one straight line. That perfect toss. That's it. Watch out, Jamie Graham and that guy. I'm coming for you in 14 years.
14 years. 60 years old.
Yeah. Matt,
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we'll be dominating the senior leagues. So what's going on, man? How's Middleburg, Florida treating you today?
Dude, 86 degrees today. Beautiful. Balmy. I have an Avalanche, 2007 Avalanche. Been paid off for a lot of years, and the front clip was pretty messed up. And I think I told you about this on another show where my son he bought me a bunch of stuff to put it back together for Christmas, and then he put it all back together. So I got it all put back together, and now I just got to kind of detail it. So today it's so beat up. I don't know if you know what cars get like down here in the South when they sit out undercut, not undercover. Mm-hmm. This thing had algae built up, so I pressure washed it one time. Then I had to wash it, with the brush and soap, and then pressure wash it again. And then, really when you dry it with those chamois, that's when it really comes fully clean. So I made this thing look really good again. It looks pretty dang good. And I think I'm going to sell it to my dad, but it's been one of my favorite trucks forever was the Avalanche. So
2007.
Had it for a long time. 299,000 miles on it.
Good Lord, bro. At this point, you can't even trade it in to get any value for it. You'll probably get $500.
Actually, I mean, these things, man, down here in the South, the 4-wheel drive is still going to get you some money. But my dad said he'd give me like $4,000 for it, so why not? He lives in Ohio. He needs it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you do know they make newer models of Avalanches. Just so you know.
They do not. They actually don't. 2013 was the last year that they made it.
Well, that's newer than the 2007.
Was the last year. Yeah, but why go get any kinds of payments, or they don't continue to make them? But I don't care. I've had this thing forever, and I still love it.
Where are we at?
We want to talk about our guests.
We're 5 minutes in, guys.
Wait,
come on.
I was trying to figure out a way to segue Allison in by using cars, and it didn't work. I should have took my.
Allison has a bunch of cars. They're probably all paid off. She's got a bunch. She's got a Cornhole car. She's got a regular car. She's got a family car. This girl's got more cars than I do.
Well, you know what, Rob?
Not good enough.
Yeah, that was probably good enough, Rob. That was good enough to segue in. We're still a new podcast, and we're still learning these interview techniques, and it just is what it is. But welcome to the show, Allison. We got ACL Pro Allison Peters from right up the interstate from me in Kernersville, North Carolina. How the hell are you doing today, Allison?
I'm doing great. Thank y'all for having me on the show.
All right. Yeah, I really hold on.
Oh,
Did you
boy.
just see that, Laura?
I'm cutting you off.
No, her audio is so out of sync.
I did
Yeah.
see it, but I wasn't going to say anything. We just go roll with it.
I guess we can.
Allison, you're doing great.
Do you want me to move to my phone?
No, actually, that just synced up nicely.
Well, actually, that was perfect right then. But
Yeah.
So it's the three-way camera. It's perfect. When you go back to her single camera, it was doing it.
Allison, go test for me real quick. Just seashells by the seashore.
Test 1, 2.
Oh, that was
Hello.
good.
Okay.
Now it's working good.
So I guess it just got a
All
little laggy. It's fine. Carry on.
No seashells, no seashore.
No
you.
seashells, no seashore. Alan said no, thank you. All right, move along.
You know what? I'm just going to leave this in the show because I want everybody to just see or hear all these the raw material, and sometimes how we're not perfect. We're perfect on every other show, Rob, but sometimes we have these hiccups, or more like vomits.
Oh man, come on! It's only a hiccup, and
Yeah, it's just a little speed
just
bump.
a hiccup.
That's all.
So I have I don't know if it's a long history with Allison, but Allison was at one of the first nationals. I think it was back in 2018, and she was playing competitive in the competitive doubles, and she was playing with her then partner, somebody that we know, Kaylee Hunter, and
Yeah,
they were
19.
they were cruising through it, dude. They were just destroying everybody. And Allison had come off of, she's got that AAR shirt on, and at AAR they do some really cool blind draws, and they're one of the biggest things up there is the way their money shot just grows and grows and grows. And Allison was lucky enough, like I think it was like 2 months in a row, she hit it for big money. I think she bought a car. As a matter of fact, she hit it for such big money that you were able. Allison, talk about that, because you and I have talked about that before. But talk about that. Before you were famous in the game, you got that opportunity to hit that money shot. Talk about that.
Yeah, I was practicing a lot, and nobody in the world knew anything about me. And so Kaylee and I were playing competitive, and I actually met you, Rob, in 19, and the beginning of the year in January, I got pulled for the very first time ever shooting on an airmail box, and I'm pretty sure it was like $1,632 a bag, and I hit 2 bags, and that was kind of like a little bit of, oh yeah, you're the girl that hit this, you're the girl that hit that. And that actually may have been in 20, because right after that we had to pretty much shut it down, and I hit it right after we shut down again for about the same money, and won about the same thing back to back, not within too long of each other. And then Ohio was canceled that year, so I think that money shot was actually the start of 2020. I met you in 19, and then 2020 happened.
Wait, what happened? What happened in 2020?
COVID.
So
COVID, everything shut down. You don't remember that?
That was a big year for me. Once everything came to a halt, I started playing ghost games, and everybody started seeing me online, and I was putting out a lot of games a week. I found a piece of paper the other day. I was cleaning out one of the vehicles, and it had like 22 blind draws and 22 ghost games. Some of them were blind draws, some of them were frame 10s that I had to play that like certain amount a week, and I just put like $10 in and then play, and you would play out however long it went. And so I started setting up that camera and practicing all the time when there wasn't anything going on. And that was my 2020. And that's how I got rolling and how I met Samantha Finley and my career began.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I was kind of wondering during 2020, the pandemic, I kept seeing a lot of people on Facebook posting these lives, and they were playing virtual games. I don't know. Can you explain to me how those worked? Because when that was going on, I was still kind of out of cornhole. I mean, I don't know if you know anything about me, but I was in from 2012 to 2018. Then I took a 3-year break, which ran through the pandemic, and just got back on last year.
Right.
So these virtual games are all new to me, and I saw people doing it, and I was like, how does this work?
So for example, like some of them, if you got in and you could go in as like intermediate, competitive, or advanced. So if you were in advanced, usually you start out like at a ghost 8 or a ghost, most time it's ghost 8. And then you would play round 1. And what you would do is the ghost always gets 8. So for example, if I throw 4 bags in the hole, I'm subtracting 12, take away 8. So I get 4 points. And that's round 1. So then I'll walk down to the other end and I'm going to throw 4 bags back. And if I throw all 4 of those in the hole, I get 4 more points. So now it's 8-0.
Gotcha.
So I would go to 21 and I might be playing that ghost 8. Well, next time I might play ghost 9. So let's say, for example, I'm playing ghost 9 and I win 21-2, but I'm playing somebody else on the other side of the world that wins 21-10. My ghost scored less, so I would move on like to the next round, depending on their rules. There's so many ways to play now. Like we would do bring your own partners, where Sam and I had a really good time with like 10 frames. You throw 10 frames, how many ever bags, perfect score is 120. I went 116 one time. That was the highest I ever went. So a lot of those are really fun to do, but they're also a lot of work. You got to she was setting up boards in her Plato's closet. I was over here at the shop all the time. So you've got to figure out when you can play and where, and if you've got the time to do it. Of course, at that time, that was all I was doing. So.
Yeah.
And Allison is a teacher, so schools were all closed. Everybody was going home virtual or going to school virtually. Weren't you seeing some 13 to 15 students during or teaching? Weren't you teaching on the computer as well?
I was, and our day was, we would start at 8:00, and then you couldn't keep these little ones on past 12:30. We would take an hour break, then we'd come back at 1:30, and then I'd be lucky to keep them on until 2:00. After 2:00, I was throwing bags the rest of the day because, that's about all I could get out of my students.
So, Allison, I would like for you to tell us a little bit. So, when we were down there in Fort Lauderdale, right, you were competitive. We had talked about on that little interview, I had talked about how you were going to progress, what your goals were. We talked about that a little bit. And then all of a sudden you got that email from the league that said, congratulations, because you weren't ready yet. Even though you did well, I think you did end up finishing second in that. I can't fully remember, but you still got that email from the league because you weren't really ready to move up to that advanced level, until you had to, kind of. And then the league sent you that email and said, congratulations on your promotion to advanced. So I was there when you got that email. So you might not have been ready, but when you were forced to go, you didn't waste any time in preparing and playing and practicing, because you live in a great area with some incredible pros all the time. You get to throw against some of the best in the country all the time, the ones that are heralded, as well as back then, the Gores were maybe they were 10, and they were still killing it back then. So talk about your area and that promotion to advance, whether you're ready for it or not, and just that part of your career as well.
Yeah, that was a huge turning point for me. I went, of course, in January, Kaylee and I played in Fort Lauderdale and competitive. And yes, I got the email saying, hey, you got to move to advanced. And I was like, oh, sheesh, okay. So I wasn't sure exactly how the ACL worked, but I had heard that it was a really good thing to go to advanced, because when you went to Worlds and women's, you were going to have to play advanced singles. I mean, most of the women are going to be advanced. So I knew I wanted to play singles and women's. So that was kind of my segue to, okay, I need to get serious about what I'm doing, because we've just finished second in the competitive And I had finished, actually, this is this funny part. Not only did I finish second doubles, but in competitive, I finished third overall and second in my bracket in singles to a guy named Jordan Powers, which I'm sure is that's kind of funny now. He won the competitive, and we always make a joke about that, saying, "Oh, we were just little old competitive players," and so that's kind of fun to look back on. But yeah, so once 2020 started, yes, my area is very, of course, and I've had this talk with Samantha and a few others. I mean, I know everybody has a lot of great players in their area. I don't want to sit here and pin roses, but I'm going to tell you that 120 players we had in conference last weekend in advanced only, it's a lot of stout competition around here with Kaylee, Jamie, Eric Davis every night, Brandon. I mean, the Gores, of course, are less than maybe around an hour from here, and I've been watching them since they were tiny, and they're playing so well right now. I always try to, check in with them hard because I'm like, hey, you getting your grades up? I kind of got to come from that teacher's perspective a little bit with them, but I'm probably one of their biggest fans, and they know it. And it's definitely a great area to practice in and play. AAR is Brad and Amanda we've been so fortunate to have this place here to practice and be able to go to. The boards are always set up. If I want to go over there on a random Tuesday night, usually I can shoot a text and say, hey, I need a couple of hours to throw or whatever. I'm about 6 miles from AAR. So it's kind of, to me, like the Mecca of Cornhole here. I have a lot of great competition, that's near Rock Hills, only an hour and 40 minutes from here. So
let me interrupt you for a second.
It is a great area.
Can you tell me about that AAR facility? What is that? Just like their warehouse, and they have boards set up there? Because I see a lot of I think Trevor Morris does a lot of regionals there. And just tell me about that facility.
So a couple years ago, Brad Kurth and Amanda Hill decided they were going to get a little bit deeper into the cornhole community, and Brad owns AAR Roofing, and so one of the office buildings there, he's turned into a cornhole facility. He redid the floors and the walls and set up the boards. And during 2020, when we were doing ghost games, he even set up the little things that you could put your phone on to make sure you had a place to record. And so it's just always top notch there. We have great, scoreboards, ice facility, drinks and snacks, and it's just an amazing place. I mean, you go there, there's a lot of energy there. You can hook up your phone, play music, whatever.
You're so fortunate to have a facility like that. Living in Raleigh, you would think we would have, this is a big enough city where we would have something like that, or somebody would jump on the opportunity to create something like that, but just doesn't happen. It seems like the further east you go in North Carolina, then you have people that want to do stuff like that. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah, and I think
it took off here.
I think it's really helped our practice game too. I mean, it's, when you have a place you can go, if it's winter time, or yes, I have a pad outside, but in the winter when it's cold, we can all get there within a few minutes here, it's to practice and work on our game. I think that's super important right now, especially because the game has evolved so much. It's crazy, the numbers.
Yeah, there's so many good players out there now, and we've beat this horse to death so many times, how the players have evolved over the past 5 years. There's so many more good players out there now than there are bad players or mediocre players. You go to a blind draw and you don't recognize faces or names, but they can take you out. You know, back in the day, if you didn't notice, if you didn't recognize somebody, you're like, okay, I probably got this guy. He's not in the cornhole community because I don't recognize him. So I got this dude. Now you can't do that. You know, now you'll get whooped.
Right.
Yeah.
This is your third year?
This is my second year.
Okay. So you went through the first year, you and Samantha were partners. I know for sure in women's, right? Was that also your pro partner?
Samantha was my pro partner, and Maya Cup was my women's partner.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, and then now this year you had made a switch and some unfortunate things had happened and you've been kind of like in limbo. I want you to kind of talk to us about that because I don't think people understand the way the league works. I mean, the league, it's very important for your singles points are very important and your doubles points are very important, but they don't really accumulate if you don't have the same partner over and over. It doesn't accumulate the same. So talk about the challenges that you've been going through this year through the first two nationals, just with your situation.
Yeah. So, I had pretty much locked in a partner in November and she resigned 3 weeks before the very first national. And she had to, for personal and family reasons, which I was definitely 100% behind her on. But it definitely left me in a pinch because then I did not have a women's partner or a pro partner. So I had to immediately acknowledge the ACL and say, hey, look, my partner has resigned. And she, of course, had resigned with them, so they knew it. So we were kind of all on the same page saying, and I have never been through anything like this, of course. So I was like, I don't know what to do. So that's when everyone was locking in for the very first national. And so there were people coming in that were not locking in. So at that point, I had to start making some moves to try to get someone to play with me. And Andy Noyes reached out from Virginia. He reached out and wanted to play with me in pro doubles. And then I reached out to Susan Finley. I told Samantha, I said, hey, you think your mom would be interested in playing with me? So Susan and I had played a couple of tournaments together. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's definitely new to me to have to scrounge for a partner. I'm glad those two wanted to play with me. But I think in the big picture, it does kind of, when you have your set person, it does, the last 2 months have definitely affected me more mentally than anything. And I didn't quite think it was going to be that big like that, but it definitely has. I still feel like I can put the bag in the hole. That part of I can play the game. It's just, I think that part has really hurt me the first two nationals.
Mm-hmm. I get that.
I'm sorry.
No, I get that. Cornhole is one of those sports where the doubles aspect of it, it can be mentally draining, especially if you don't have a partner. Because when you message someone, it's kind of like Tinder and Bumble. You're always searching for the next best thing. You know what I'm saying? That's the way Cornhole is when it comes to partner searching. You ask somebody to be your partner, and then that person's a little bit better than you. They're going to be like, sure. But then if somebody better than the person that asked them to play, some of these people will like dump you quick and move on to that. So when I see people advertising on Facebook, hey, looking for a partner, and like nobody comments underneath, sometimes that happened to me. But Yeah, I get it. Cornhole's one of those deals where, you got to be mentally strong, not just on the court, but off the court too. You can't let it bother you.
And I realize this is a business, and I've always tried to treat it like that. This is not about. I've never been about, hey, I'm gonna try to I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way. I'm still a nice person, but like when it comes to business, I try to keep this business wise. Like, hey, I'm picking a partner that, hey, it's going to go this way, or it's not because I'm not friends with you, or it might be that we don't throw the same bag the same way, or I saw some videos of you and it looked like we might be able to. So at that point, I was scrounging for anything. Like I was trying to look and say, okay, these people have not locked in yet. So let me have their names so that I can go look them up and try to do some video hunting to see what they even throw. I don't know a lot of people because it was only my second year. And so it was very difficult. I was on probably edge for about 2 weeks. Really, it was probably the most nerve-wracked I've been in a long time trying to figure all that out.
Well, I hope you get that figured out pretty soon.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's really not something to lose your mind over, but I get it.
Yeah.
I was once there too.
It's a little different in the pro division, like she was talking about. There are only 256 pros, so that makes 128 even teams. So when you're in a search and there are 4 people that aren't locked in or 5 people that aren't locked in, you want to go and try to get the best one. Allison is about winning. She's been a racer. She's been she's been a dog shower. She's about winning. Winning is very important to Allison. She had Samantha as a partner last year and Maya. So she was always somewhere in the mix, always talked about. So all of a sudden when all that it falls apart, no matter how much you support the situation, it gets to be a little bit taxing on you, just like you said, just because you're used to winning. You're used to playing for the win. I think you and Andy are a good partnership. I don't know if you throw the same bags. I thought he threw a pretty slick bag most of the time, but I know you with AAR and all Cornhole, you've been throwing the game changer, right? That's your go-to. But I don't. So that being that Andy, I don't know what Andy. I thought Andy was a Viper guy. So, but that's got to be a little bit of an adjustment for the both of you. But his PPR is nice. He's been really working on his game this year. So I think that's a good fit for the situation that you're in. I mean, it's not ideal, but it's definitely a good fit for you. I think you can work with it.
I am very happy that Andy wanted to play with me. Yes, I think we are going to work on a little bit more chemistry on the boards, but he is a very great player. I'm very excited that we were able to get locked in together. That was a great move for me. I think the best is yet to come for us.
As far as like getting a partner, what do you think, Rob, or Allison too? The hardest part of getting a partner, do you find it being the bags, throwing the same type bags?
I'd like to answer that question.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So, at the end of the season last year, like my bag put me, and this is just me being raw right here. I've always kind of look at the numbers. That's the person I am. My bag put me on TV about 13 times last year, and I wasn't willing to come away from it. That's what it came down to for me. Game changers. Okay. And I just said, that's where I'm at. I'm locked in with all Cornhole. That's what I want to throw. That's what I throw. And I'm looking for who can throw a slick bag. And so that's where I was at. Yes, if it would have, been different before the season, maybe it would have been different. But for me, that's kind of where I was at with that.
When it comes to me, I want a slick bag, and that's not really the answer for everybody else. So yeah, I do believe that finding a partner does become a little bit of a problem when you're looking at bag selection. I do think that it can become a problem because that guy that guy, that girl might be able to throw that bag that's a little less slick, and he may be able to control it completely. Whereas I just need a little bit of a slicker bag so everything will get to the hole, all the time. So I do believe that can become a problem, but I do think that with all of the bag selections, if you're not sponsored by a certain company, I think with all the bag selections, you can find one that matches no matter what.
Yeah, if you're looking for a permanent partner to throw with, and ACL, ACO, TCL, whatever your cup of tea is, yeah, I would look at like branding. Make sure find somebody that's throwing the same brand.
Right. That was kind of the thing with me. I was already branded when this all happened. So yeah. I wasn't willing to come off of that. I think that's what made my situation different. Let's say I had not signed, and I don't think there was a way I could do that, because really I wanted to sign before USA Cornhole. Now that's a whole different topic. I know I know y'all probably don't want to talk about USA Cornhole, but
no, we can talk about
Frank and I've been playing. Well, Frank and I've been playing USA Cornhole, and a lot of it happens in the ACL off season. So if I'm going to get on TV with that bag, it's, or whatever, try to get on TV with that bag and throw successful. I wanted to go ahead and lock in early. Hey, I'm locked in with all Cornhole, so that, hey, that's what I'm throwing. That's what I'm paid to throw. So now then when you have a situation when your partner backs out, I've already been locked in for 3 or 4 months here. So that's where that's the difference. Like if it would have been start of the season and we say, hey, we're going to go with this bag together, me and the person I want to throw with, obviously that would make a different situation.
Okay. So do you play with Frank Modlin? Is he your USA Cornhole partner?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. So you really find this problem in blind draws, and one example is I played in a blind draw in the CCL before they shut their doors. I played in their blind draw a few weeks back, and I drew Ray Brooks. Ray Brooks is one of the best throwers in North Carolina that's not heard of, because he plays a lot of ACO. I don't think he plays ACL, but he could be one of the best if he got in the mix. But Ray throws, I want to say he throws BG bags. I'm not for certain, but they're real sticky. But his throw, he has so much rotation on his bag that there's not a lot of friction when his bag hits the board, and it goes straight. It doesn't do a fish flop to the right, fish flop to the left. But I threw those same bags, and I don't have as much rotation on my bag. So every time my bag would hit center mass going toward the hole, and as soon as it hit, it would flop right, flop left. So that makes a big difference. Not just the bags, the player's throwing style. If you've got a totally different throwing style than your partner and you're using bags you're not used to, that's going to hurt you. But it's definitely good that you could find somebody, at least in USA Cornhole, to throw the same bags. I'm kind of shocked that you couldn't find anybody to throw full-time in the ACL as a partner using Game Changers. Because still, to this day, they've been out. They're one of the longest running bags out there, right, Rob? I'm surprised at that.
They are.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you couldn't find anybody.
It wasn't about that. It was the fact that there was so many that were already locked in.
Yeah.
And,
they were already locked. She didn't resign until 3 weeks before.
Oh.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
I mean, that's almost to the point where you couldn't have even played doubles because of the way the way the brackets work and the way the betting works. You were almost to the point where you couldn't have even played doubles if you did find a partner before that first national. So that's crazy.
Mm.
And because of the numbers thing with me, I even thought about that. I thought about the very first national. If I didn't find somebody, wait, because here goes the business mind again. What if somebody at the first national throws the first national with someone and they don't like their partner, or they don't want to throw with them again, or it doesn't work out as pretty as they wanted it to. Do I hang on for the second national and wait? Because at that point I was thinking, what do I do?
Now, Allison, do you follow the league pretty closely? Have you been seeing the way that that's actually happened after the second national? We got partners.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Partners all over the place. Isn't that crazy? I mean, because you need three. You really need three in order to get that qualification to be able to go to Worlds and do what you're supposed to do. And these people are dropping out, just walking away from their partner right after the second national. I mean, what could have possibly happened to make you do that? How much do you dislike that person? It's got nothing to do with, I mean, sure, it's business, but after the second one, you got to lock yourself in. You got to decide that we can take care of this. We can fix this. So have you been watching that? And how surprised are you at what that's been doing? And how does that affect you in any way?
I mean, I'm kind of surprised. I obviously, I'm not going to do that with Andy. I'm happy with Andy, and I think we can play it. I think we'll be okay. We were like 62 in the first one. I don't know what we were in the second one, but we should be able to get it together. And I think it's better to be 62 than at the bottom than trying to work out of that mess. So to me, I still feel very confident in my doubles play. Like this past weekend at I know we've said this, we beat the dead horse still, but I put a comment on Trey's tweet today. He said the average pro throws 9.3, 9.4. And my partner and I threw 9.6 and 9.7 in conference, and we tied for 13th in our bracket. So, and it wasn't either. That was both of our throwing. So, it was crazy, but I mean, it's going to be. I played with Annette Tedder. I don't know if you all remember her from way back.
I love Annette Tedder. Oh my gosh, she's one of my favorite players, and yeah, I love it. She beat Jordan Langworthy way back when, 2016 or 17. She's coming back hard. I'm telling you, she has been practicing like crazy. Loves the game.
Down the middle. Yes.
Hey, Rob, let me ask you this. What's one of these doubles teams that have broken up after national number 2 that's kind of shocked you?
I mean, anybody who breaks up after national number 2 it's shocking. So Mason Morgado and McGuire Shepherd just decided they're not going to play together anymore for whatever reason. Maybe they didn't do as well as they thought they were going to do, but and then I guess Jordan Langworthy, we're not sure what's going on with him. So Mason Morgado and Berkeley Pear are now partnering up for the rest of the season. So it's crazy to see this stuff that's happening in this league that, I guess if you look across the leagues, historically across other leagues, this is the kind of stuff that happens. But I never expected it here in the cornhole world. I didn't want, especially after national number 2 happens, and you need 3. It doesn't make sense to me that you would do that. So
no,
it's crazy to me.
I'm kind of jealous of these people that have played together for years. One team that comes to mind is like Ryan Windsor and Isidro Herrera. They have played together for years, man. I mean, I remember playing them back in the ACO back in Las Vegas in 2014 or 15, and they're still playing together. There's a few more teams out there. I mean, before this season, Matt and Brett played together forever.
Philip and Damon.
Yeah. If you're fortunate, if you can find somebody to play multiple years with, especially in this sport, because it's, like I said, it's what have you done for me lately? Kind of like that NFL attitude, You ever had a partner, Rob, where you guys put together a nice streak?
Yeah, of course. I had one of my partners. His name is Ryan Johnson. He's in the PDC this year, but we've gone and had plenty of fun. Nice streak, just doing what we're supposed to do and playing well. But Ryan, has always had a desire to play with his son. His son got to a point where he could play, and he made the pro division. So Ryan made that decision. So
They dropped you like a bad
You know,
habit, son.
Well, that doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all.
Well, I mean, his son is
get it.
really good. I saw him throw at Spencer McKenzie's last year. His son is really good.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. That stuff is, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that. So, Allison, your singles game this year, how has that been coming along? And do you realize how important that is because of, the partner switch up? Even though you and Andy, I really do feel like you got a great future. What has your singles game been doing? And have you changed your practice regimen because of what this year has done to you? Has it changed your mindset a little bit? And what's singles game look like?
It looks terrible. I have been, I think because I've put so much pressure on myself, I think it's very difficult to know I have to do this and I have to do that. I think coming in, I was feeling very confident. I had played Matt Guy in the Kentucky Open, and I made it all the way to the driver's seat of my bracket and had to play him. And man alive, it was a very close game, and I was very, very close to coming back on him. And he put me in the dirt right there at the end, but I felt like I played very steady the whole game and thought, okay, this is great in January going into the first national, and then just blew it. I mean, I really was set up in the first national to do really well in my bracket. I felt like I got this, I can do it. And my head I fell all apart. So I think it was a lot of the pressure of being able to perform, and I have not been able to do that in singles.
Allison, I got a two-parter for you. First question, is there anyone out there that's got your number? That one person where you just cannot win a game against? Second one, what's your most memorable moment?
I don't know about anybody having my number, because sometimes I don't even know if I have my own number when it comes to what I'm going to do next in the game. I do a lot of crazy airmails at random times and things like that. So I don't feel like, I feel like I'm definitely beatable. I just don't feel like I think once I get my head straight, it'll be better in that sense. Most memorable moment was definitely the bag that set me on the scene, and that was the very first USA team I made with Frank, and I hit the winning shot. That push on the back of Christine Papke's. There's a clip of it on my website. It was probably my most memorable moment. As soon as it happened, I knew we'd made the USA team and co-ed, and man, that was tough playing her and Ryan Windsor, me and Frank on the finals on NBC, and I was really wanting that game bad.
Wow, that's a big win right there. Two elite baggers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's awesome. That is awesome. How's that USA Cornhole thing working out?
I love it. We have actually done last year we did a couple, like one time as we went to Indy for the Indianapolis. We did a charity fundraiser for special needs kids to buy a van, and Frank and Matt and Christine and I flew out to Indianapolis, and we partnered with some of the race car drivers in Indy, and we were able to raise enough money to help them get a van that they needed for those kids. And we were able to play some exhibition games back in Myrtle Beach in December on NBC. So that was really fun. And I enjoy USA Cornhole a lot. It's very hard. It's single elimination, and you play rounds. And then once you're done with rounders, you move into a single elimination bracket, and then one and done. It's a great, I love it.
Well, I hope to get out to USA Cornhole next year. The one you spoke of in Myrtle Beach, I wanted to go to that one. We had just had
Anthony.
Yep. Yeah, we just had him on, and he said he was going out to announce for that. competition, and I wanted to go, just couldn't get out to Myrtle Beach that weekend. That was the same weekend for the college cornhole championships too, right? It was kind of all the same thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. New Year weekend, right? I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it was over the.
Yeah, it was.
It was New Year's.
Rob, you got anything else, man?
I did want to ask about. We do have the shootout series coming, and last year the shootout series for you was pretty good. You ran a few of them until you got the win. Are you looking forward to the shootout series? Because that is definitely singles and then doubles, but it's women's singles. So are you looking forward to the shootout series? Are you and then a second question, are you working hard? Are you going to try to get to Airmail City? Because those are kind of two different things, but somewhat the same.
Well,
I mean,
because of my singles game right now, I don't know that I will make it to Airmail City, but the pro shootout is definitely on my target list. Last year, I felt like I was able to jump out in a 10 round pretty quick. So it led me to a lot of finals appearances, but it wasn't until Memphis I was able to finish it out. But yes, the money's doubled this year, and I definitely want to be there.
Cha-ching. All about the money.
Do 10-round games bother you as opposed to going to 21? You just said you're able to jump out pretty quick, but do you like 10-round games better than what you like going to 21, or is traditional cornhole still your cup of tea?
Well, no doubt I love traditional cornhole, but I feel like 10 rounds I can practice. Like that's kind of like those games used to be. Hey, you're going to play 10 rounds. That's all you get. 40 bags. Let's see what you can do. So I can mind game a little bit easier knowing I only have this many bags to do what I've got to do at max. And if I can do it quicker, then that's just icing on the cake. So
Allison, before we let you go, are you a native of North Carolina?
I am.
Okay, I am too. But this really doesn't make a difference in my question. When this episode airs, this game will have happened already, and there will have been a winner. But what side of the fence are you on? Are you a Blue Devil or are you a Tar Heel?
I'm a Tar Heel.
Oh,
go away with that Blue Devil mess.
Oh, my God. I'm getting her off the show right now, Rob. You know what, Rob? Your shirt looks like it's baby blue.
Yep. It's Carolina blue all day.
Yes. I saw your little I saw your little messenger pop up with that little devil on it, and I darn near didn't even come in.
Hey, did you see my cover photo? It's me and Christian Leitner. Greatest college basketball player ever. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's arguable. Him, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Ja
Morant.
But you know what?
Ja Morant.
This episode airs, Allison, and Duke is national champions, actually. Refer back to this podcast when it airs next week. Duke will be national champions. Just so you know.
I will say this.
What is wrong with you?
Let me say this before this is over. Okay. We have nothing to lose.
Yes,
this is your story.
I know. We have everything to lose.
This is your story.
If Coach K loses this game on Saturday, then he should not retire. He can't retire. He's got to come back. He cannot lose like this. He cannot lose like this, and we're not.
This is the farewell tour, man. Farewell.
No,
tour.
You know what? It was the farewell tour for Tom Brady too, and look what he did. Thank you.
No, that's a lie. That wasn't a farewell tour. He never said that.
Coach K, he is not going out. We're 4 points favorites on Saturday. I know everybody listening to this right now is saying, "Yeah, Duke already won, baby. Yeah." I know that's what's going on. So, Allison, hey, look, it was a pleasure to meet you. Thanks for coming on the Sticky Side with me and Rob. Hope to see you out there soon. Go Blue Devils. Allison's Tar Heels suck. That's
what is wrong? What is wrong?
You know what, Rob? Listen to the Hammered podcast.
You gotta pick one side.
Yeah, I am. I'm a Blue Devil.
I mean, you got to pick, right? I mean, when you live in North Carolina, you pick one or the other. State doesn't matter, right?
Yeah,
State
it doesn't.
matter.
State and Wake Forest, they don't matter. This is a good thing for them because
or a Dookie.
To be a State fan or a Wake Forest fan right now, you can actually watch the game Saturday and enjoy it. You know, a UNC or a Duke fan is not going to enjoy this game Saturday until the clock hits triple zero
right.
in the second half, and then only one side is going to enjoy it. That's it. Nobody's going to enjoy this game. Am I lying, Allison? Are you going to enjoy the game? Are you having a party Saturday?
No.
You can have a party for this game.
Rough.
Yeah, this isn't one of those games you have a party and invite everybody over and put on your shirts and your hats and go, let's go Tar Heels, let's go Duke. No, this isn't one of those games. This is serious, Rob. This is like Lakers Celtics times 1,000,000. Plus
bro,
Auburn, Alabama times 500,000,000.
The biggest rivalry in college football is the Ohio State-Michigan game. I totally understand where you're coming.
This is worse. Like Eric Church.
Not. Well,
Eric Church.
It's worse because basketball players are kind of,
Did you just see what came out today? Eric Church canceled his concert in Houston just to watch the game. This is taking on levels of. What was that? Yeah, he's a Tar Heel fan.
He's a Tar Heel.
Tar Heel.
Yeah. And there's so many fans so upset with him right now because, I'm pretty sure maybe a small percentage of those are Duke and Carolina fans. But, no, I bet you a majority of those are people that don't even give a shit about sports at all. And he's like,
they didn't even know they didn't even know. That's crazy.
When you're
Eric Church and you're canceling your concert. I mean, that's incredible stuff.
Straight up canceled his concert.
I believe in the rivalry. I think it's amazing. I love it. I love the rivalry. I love the situation. I mean, how do you not love that? But wow. You really think Duke is going to win, or do you have any nerves at all?
So here's my take on this. I think losing that last home game in Duke was good for Duke. It lit a fire. It lit a fire in him. And Coach K said what he said in public about how that was not acceptable. Just imagine what he told them boys back in that locker room when there was no cameras. Just imagine. Right. And I bet you that lit a fire in those boys that they have brought to the tournament. And, they've had some games in the tournament where it looked like, okay, they might get handled, but they always came back and destroyed at the end. Carolina's looking good, even though they played a freaking true 15 seed that somehow got to the Elite Eight. I have no idea why, but I don't know.
And so, Allison, do you have any nerves about this game? Do you feel like Carolina's going to win? Or, as you go into this, are you confident? And I know what your confidence is when you're playing a cornhole game. Do you have the same confidence with the Tar Heels going in to play Duke?
Well, they're definitely the underdog, but like I told him, they have nothing to lose. It's not our Cinderella story.
That's right.
So, I think we've obviously proved we can beat them, and we beat them in Ameren, but
we beat y'all in Chapel Hill too.
Out of town, you don't ever know how things are going.
Did you hear J.J. Redick yesterday was on First Take, and he said that when he was going to school there, because there's Carolina fans on Duke's campus. They work there, okay, and he would go up to this one. It was like a coffee stand on campus, and he would go up there, and they would be like, your ass is going to lose. You suck, and this is on Duke's campus. I'm like, my God.
Redick. That's some fun stuff right there.
Yeah.
How does it get any better?
It doesn't, man. It doesn't. But it'll be better because right now Duke's national champs. Anyway, hey, you know what, Rob? Allison, thanks for being on the show. We really appreciate it. We got to get out of here. This is Mike. That's Rob. Sticky Side. Peace. Throw 'em straight.
Thank you, Allison.
Oh, just wanna be cornhole, stop and saying keep hotels and driving beat up cars. The crowd gets crazy and the beers ain't cheap. We get drunk all day, so we just don't eat, and we hang out at the local bar, throwing bags in the hole like we have it all.